rather delayed. Back of him, Tim Hood has got a problem. The 44 TVR has slowed right down as well, heading up Clay Hill, and that is losing places. And making some of the progress that Jim Geddy comes through, and now starts to get into the markers. So it's kind of 88 Ben Tompkinson is the person of those that has already been on the race, but it's 42.810 now. 0.8 seconds to win himself a full plan. We've still got number 12 and Rory Bristol there in what is third position, but Mark Oulton having now got himself position is looking relative last time. Second, Rory Bristol, the gap is closing. It happened period, if you like, in the days of John Lappel, Brian Redman. It's happening again now, a very different type of chevron and different owners, long, of course, I've moved on since the days of Derek Bennett, owning the company, the late Derek Bennett, but it's great to see the car going so well. The sister car in the hands of David Witt at the rear of the field. At the moment is very, very hard to stop now. Will Plant, likewise, up into second place. Anyway, so for the moment, Clutton is stuck behind the third place Ferrari. And into the pit lane. Car mechanics busy changing tyres on that one. We'll keep an eye on Marcus Clutton as he starts to really turn the screw and ask a few questions. Scuderia is still there. And as they head out of Dearly but up towards the braking area for Old Hall Corner, Marcus Clutton is not quite close enough. Elsewhere now, doing on the lead. The two Ginetta G50s. Sully Yollop was leading by less than half a second. I'll keep an eye on that when they get back to me as I'm just watching Clutton lead the chevron through Cascade. The cars now sprint along, take time straight. On a lap ago, we might have to change for third. It is still looking likely, still looking imminent. Phil Bergen is about to gain ground going down towards Cascade because he's still out. In fairness, may well be thinking about points rather than getting involved in any silly battles. The chance to finish, but the man that led early on is now down in fourth place. Letting them go without putting up huge amounts of defence because of course it's the point in his respective class. About a country mile, might have lost a couple of places in the class. There's a huge amount of daylight in reality between their respective class positions. Heading into sight at Dearly corner. Marcus Clutton really has pushed on. Here's the second, not rolling up the third, as you say. Will Plant now leading the class down in the fourth position. Darren Nelson is there in fifth place. Ferrari, and it's the first of the Jennings car, that being car number 30, Peter Jennings, that completes the top six. I see what you mean about that Ginetta battle as well. It's still Yolo just ahead of David Witt. They paid off end that way. The leaders worked their way out of the gate then through the traffic. Park doing the right thing, thinking about points. It may be that he elected to race two rather than Ollie Ryan take over that car. So and now it's going to swing either way, isn't it? Whether it's Will behind the wheel or Ollie Ryan, because they're going to swing drivers in car racing. Those agents are possible in terms of historic. Right, Jim Geddy then comes through his lots for the 11th time. How long to go, Mark? We have 5 minutes to go. Brings back as he goes up Clay Hill. Marcus Clutton still pounding on behind him, Dockrell, and the Will Plant is still there in fourth. And it's a big gap then back to fifth, which is where you get a lot of delays now. Darren Nelson delayed by back markers coming down towards his lots. Car number 18 leading as well. The circuit conditions are continually improving. 1 minute 39.839 seconds. Begins to catch up on the next of the back markers. Next move is going to catch Marcus Clutton. He's not gaining on the race leader. He was a quarter of a second slower, so I think all the hard work is probably done now. Anyway, he may also have lost quite a bit out of that car and it's hustle up through the order. The Ginetta fight, class leading Ginetta fight, it's still Sarah Yoloch ahead of David Bierman, all of the same. The race leader, more and more traffic. I think Tim Hood got back into the race. It's become a test session now. So hopefully that car is going to be good and competitive for race 2. Last time out of this race, so hopefully with it being quick early on, it will have been able to garner itself. Watching this time from Jim Geddy, who's got 3 cars to get past, all of whom are battling amongst themselves. He gets past 2, and those 2 can try to drive into each other, one of which is Jeff Wyatt, who rather clumsily clatters off the side of Adrian Lester coming down towards his lots. Geddy has got past Chris Bentley as well. So he's got Marcus, as I say, who tried to self-destruct to an extent. The one that came off worse was Adrian Lester's Lotus, number 10. So the leader goes through. Clutton is still there in second spot. And a slow Ian Dockrell. Now what's all this about? Sorry, Chris Dockrell. The Ferrari has slowed right down. So Will coming out and goes up now into third place overall once again. And the Ferrari has stopped on the track of the Lotus train. It's brought out the yellow flags, but he's on the circuit. It is therefore halved the width of the road. And this is not a shift from there, I wouldn't have thought, because it looks like he's got no drive.
Well, there's only a couple of minutes to go, so it may well be that we potentially see checkered flag coming out a little bit earlier, David.
That was somebody, even though the yellow flags were waving, darted out of the draft of another car and had a face full of Ferrari, which now chugs away. It's got going again, thankfully, so Dockrell is on the move. Could have been a sort of reboot. It's got going again, something electrical therefore. It's back in the race, but that was a bit of a drama for all. Wickers, previous best has been back in Viking, Geddy, McLaren. The gap needs to be the best driver of the season.
Oh yes, it's actually astonishing, isn't it? The crowded field on a second that's not the easiest race. Very, very well crafted race from Marcus. Very, very impressive.
And Jock, how much does a McLaren cost relative to a Chevron?
I would suspect the McLaren's marginally more.
Yeah, that's where I'm heading really, yes. Because performance per pound, this little Chevron has become quite a car, hasn't it? The speed it's got relative to the top.
Well, I make the assumption that Jim Geddy
Now just ahead of Francis Galashan, who nips past him heading up Clay Hill. So Foster having his dramas. Jim Geddy knows everything absolutely right in this. He pushed when the tyres were up to temperature. He has been able to consolidate a gap, and so it's going to be Geddy to score the win from Clutton. And then, of course, after the dramas that befell Chris Dockrell, it's going to be Will Plant, isn't it? Back into third, albeit a very difficult.
But it is a class win, more importantly, which means that he'll be absolutely delighted because he came into this weekend flying second. Close the gap a little bit on current class leader David Hawley, but the job to do. Ahead over the start-finish line. The second checkered flag in the first of our two GT Cup races. Jim Geddy comes through and claims what for him, I think, is his 12th win of the season so far at the wheel of the McLaren. Although before we see Marcus Clutton come through, he finishes in second place, but the drive of the race for me, Marcus Clutton, how can you argue with that from 22nd on the grid? What of, David, the battle for the lead of class GT?
Still together when I last saw them, and the two of them, evenly matched Janettas that have run absolutely nose to tail pretty much race long, continue this great duel. Over the hill as they come. Now, they to go, and as they do so, it remains Jollop just ahead of David Bierman, who lost a bit of ground coming over hilltop, but he's gained it back again, heading through his lops, but I don't think he's quite momentum to run away past. Jollop just seems to have this under control.
It looks as though it's been under control for the vast majority of the race.
Yeah.
But a bit separated by less than a second. We ought to say third. Racing Corridor Nelson that is there in fourth place. In fifth position is Carnival 30, which is Peter Jennings, including the top six in the first. Class GTA, they head in towards Lodge Corner for the final time, and it doesn't look as though David Bierman is going to be able to in the class. So solid, yeah, absolutely comes through and claims the victory in Class GTA, despite the fact that the two of them
drive your own race, and that's all you can do, isn't it? Very well done indeed. Congratulations. A quick word, if we may, with the driver who secured the honours in Class GTC, Darren Nelson. Darren, it's a fairly hectic race at some points for you.